for the territory to the testifiers. My first set of question has to do in regards to, I know we talk a lot about sometimes funding. We do have funding from the federal government, even from our local coffers. And I know sometimes when we're in financial constraints, some of these programs get pulled back, they're stalled. How much do you guys as a department reach out to the private sector to create more public-private partnerships to help offset when we're having somewhat of a financial concern? And if you do that, do you have a listing of some of the ongoing activities or programs that you're involved with currently?
Vincent Roberts, Acting Commissioner. We reach out to the private sector a lot, especially the federation, the different sporting federations, to assist with whether it's refereeing the games or organizing, because like I said, we usher our staff, and in an effort to offer more programs, we have to reach out to the private sector. It's impossible for our staffing to offer the things that we offer without reaching out to the private sector.
Through the chair to Mr. Roberts, could you provide us with a listing of those programs that are a combination of public-private partnerships so we could see how much the private is also participating with helping us with making sure that these programs are running? I want to ask, one of my colleagues earlier talked about getting people on board to work with the department. And your response had to do with, the money, the salary is a deterrent for some people. What are your plans? Like, if that is the biggest deterrent, what are your plans to see how that could be adjusted, or any other marketing tools or potential incentives that you could see that could be done? Because sometimes it's not always about money for some people. You could make a salary of $50,000, but you give me X amount of this, and I'm willing to still take the job. What are some of those things your department potentially can or see you will be doing in order to execute? Because just saying, okay, the salary, does it end there, or you still make the effort?
Yeah, we definitely make the effort. A lot of time.
This is what Ivy League universities you can get.
Folks come on and they're excited about the job, and after the first 2 weeks and you get a first paycheck and you realize
all the deductions.
I don't think they anticipate the deduction. I think that's one of the biggest issues. But one of the things we're trying to do now is look at positions and titles and kind of figure out how we could change some titles to be able to offer or attract more people. Because we lose some really great people, not because they want to leave, but because they have a family to feed, and I can't blame them for that. But
no.
At the same time, losing them, it hampers the department. It causes the department trying to replace somebody. They leave some big shoes to be filled that is hard to fill sometimes.
What are some of the greatest challenges that you find that you're having running this department? I need to know, because then I can't help you.
No. I understand what you're saying. I think the employees of this department are great employees. Let me just put on the record. It's just sometimes I think they're trying their best. And sometimes it's on myself and being able to give them the supplies or the equipment they need on a timely basis when they need it. So for me, my biggest issue is sometimes I feel like I am not, it comes across like I'm not supportive, or I am not trying to give them what they need. But I think the employees of the department are great employees. I honestly feel so. And I think they give 100% at everything they do. But I just think we need to be working with a bigger budget than we're working with right now.
Okay, so you want more money. I got you. One of the things we find with some of the agencies, they're in need of enforcement officers.
Yes.
As you know, you guys are a large gamut because it's so many sports, location, parks, etc. And one of the conversations we've been having over the past couple of years, even with the previous commissioner, had to do with the enforcement officers for sports parks and rec. Are you guys still along that same mindset? Because I understand the need based on previous discussion, because I'm thinking basketball courts in the middle in the evenings, the beaches. I can't imagine how, if you don't have your own set to focus on your area,
Right.
the potential issues that could continue to happen. But that's how I feel from what I've seen moving around this territory. How do you guys feel about that? You know, basically arming yourselves with your enforcement officers.
We definitely need enforcement officers. One, VIPD, Port Authority, licensing, they all do a great job in assisting us. But we are not a priority on their
30
their
seconds.
list.
And that's where the concern comes
We have
in.
a lot of people living in our parks, sleeping on the benches. We throwing away a lot of garbage. They just keep adding and adding. We have issues on the beaches. We have issues of our vendors. We're not able to find them. We need our own enforcement arm.
Okay. Well, and
Time.
the reason why, could I just wrap up with that? I could see where that is a major concern because, like I said from previous meetings, I see how when you go to the parks, that's an issue. I see when you go to the beach and you have large bodies of people, sometimes people are drinking. I have seen a lot of those types of situations that have occurred. And then sometimes, you know, if you have to rely on the police department and they have to choose between going to a major situation versus fights on the beach, sometimes I could see where they have to decide what the priority is. But for me, it's about public safety across the board. And if we have to make decisions to make sure we have pockets of enforcement officers in areas that have large crowds especially, I think we need to start focusing on seeing how that safety aspect is addressed. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for the additional time, and thank you guys.
And thank you, Senator Alma Francis Heilega, for your round of questions.
Afternoon to my colleagues, to the people of the territory, to the testifiers. I always look forward to having a conversation with Human Services because I know how important this agency is to the everyday lives of individuals in this territory, especially those that are in need of those critical services. One of the first questions I want to ask, how many of the seniors participate in the Senior Community Service Employment Program? And are there any specific collaborations with businesses here in St. John? And if so, how does that work?
In St. Croix, we have 21 enrollees in the CSEP program, St. Thomas 28. I think I'll ask Mr. Milligan, do we have any employees in St. John in our CSEP program?
Alvin Milligan, Administrator of Senior Citizens Affairs. I think we just answered that question, that we are now working to, in fact, get some enrollment. We had a few in St. John, however, since COVID, some of them did not reapply or did not extend to be on. And we have a few that go down to St. Thomas because some of the businesses in St. John or some of the agencies did not, in fact, partner with us. So I hope that answers the question.
Thank you.
Okay.
And how do you intend to potentially reactivate those, since it's a missing aspect in St. John? Are you actively looking to try to get people to come back on that program in St. John, minus having them shipped down? Are you making an active effort to reach out to businesses in St. John?
Yes, we are, Senator Francis. The program administrator, the program the director, she's in fact Miss Cindy Rollins Williams. They're going to be doing some active campaigning this year because we do see that there is a need. However, we could only do, and even though if persons are interested, they can go into the multipurpose center and apply there, as well as we do have staff there that can in fact get information to them as well.
So a campaign is coming forward this year to assist with that?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. One of the things we talk a lot about is in-home care and getting assistance in the home for our seniors. One of the things I've been looking at is adult foster care system. That's like a little bit in reverse of where it's similar, like where you would place children in foster care. Adult foster care system is where seniors would be placed in homes where they are literally getting the assistance that they need, because as you know, not every senior is able at a certain age to live on their own. What are your thoughts about creating a system like that here in the territory that's somewhat in reverse of what we're attempting to do?
Avril George, Commissioner, Senator, that is a great idea. That is something we can take back to the team and discuss in depth in regards to your recommendation and see what resources and funding we'll need to maybe pull something like that off. But that is an awesome idea.
Okay, well, hopefully you'll support the legislation when I bring it forward in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
I also wanted to speak to you about some of the projects. Have you guys been, not even programs, have you guys been experiencing any issues or concerns, as you know, nationally with the federal freezing of, has anything trickled down to you guys as yet, or all your programs that are federally funded, is everything still on track so far?
Senator Avril George, Commissioner, we have not had no delayed or stoppage in our programs or funding on DHS here in the territory.
I am happy to hear that. I know a lot of us are worried, but I'm happy to hear that nothing is affecting us as yet. One of the things you touched on had to do with the relocation of transient to their original home. How does that work? Because I know we saw quite a bit of people, especially after the hurricanes, and individuals that come here to the territory, and for whatever reason, they're stuck or whatever the case is. How does that work, and how does your department intervene in trying to assist them to get back home?
Carla Benjamin, Assistant Commissioner. That's a program that's run through our intake office, and the assistance is to individuals who have not been in the territory for an extended length of time, like no more than 90 days.
90 days, it's limited.
Yes.
And is there a reason why it's limited to that 90-day period? Because, or would you consider them a resident after that?
Correct.
Because I know the loss is anybody here after 90 days is considered a resident.
Correct. It's
Okay.
transient, those who are.
So it's limited to that. And do you have a large number of those people? Like, give us an average of how many people do you assist?
We used to have a lot. It's not been that many recently. I don't have a number that I can provide for you, but I can get that.
Okay, well, I'm happy to hear that. I'll look forward to that information.
1 minute.
Getting our children educated from early on, especially dealing with Head Start, what exactly recruitment efforts do you guys have in place? Because I know from what I was listening and reading with the testimony, there were some concerns with personnel. What type of recruitment efforts are you guys really focusing on to try to get people in regards to dealing with Head Starts?
In regards to the vacant
30
positions, we
seconds.
follow, Avril George, Commissioner, in regards to the vacant positions, we follow the guidelines with posting all vacancies on Division of Personnel website, as well as we do media releases to let individuals know that are you talking about children or
Well,
positions?
no, the position. So, do you think that works?
It
Like,
does.
It does?
It does.
Yeah,
Some
because
of
I
our
want to know how it's
Some of our
benefiting.
vacancies sometimes could have over 100 individuals referred
wow,
for
that's good.
positions, and then we got to
Time.
go through an elimination process. But all unionized positions must be posted on Division of Personnel
Mm-hmm.
website. The team has taken the extra step with posting exempt positions as well
Okay.
on the division, so it gives us a pool of candidates in regards to qualified individuals.
Excellent. I'm very happy to hear that people are reaching out to help work in these areas because, you know, anything to do with our children, making sure they have that grounded in education from the beginning really helps them along in life. So I'm looking forward to hearing more positive stuff from that. It's that time? Okay. I think I heard it. Could I ask one more question?
Yeah,
Thank
proceed.
you. I wanted to ask a little bit about Meals on Wheels. I know there was some issues there with the financing, and I know the legislature, we put out some money to help offset that. Have you guys been able to identify or get additional funding for its continuation? Are you still having major problems? Do you need additional monies? Have you attached to get grants? Give me an update as it relates to Meals on Wheels, also even specifically here in St. John, how many individuals are being serviced?
For our Meals on Wheels program, we have, oh, I'm missing St. John. Mr. Milligan, can you help me with St. John? I think we have 37 regular and 13 congregate at the Adrian Senior Center in regards to a nutrition program, Meals on Wheels. And
That's
St.
correct.
John.
St. John, so roughly 37 and what?
37 regular and 13 congregate, that goes to Adrian Senior Center for Meals.
Okay. And go ahead with the outline of what's happening with the program and finances, et cetera.
Mr. Milligan, I'll turn that over to you.
Good afternoon, Alvin Milligan, Administrator of Senior Citizens Affairs. Currently, the issue with St. John, and there's no secret, the residents there most of them are snowbirds, so you'll see an increase during the winter month, Senator Francis, with in terms of participation with the programs, even with the congregate and the homebound meals. Also, I think that we are at a stable amount in terms of providing the services. We do not have any current wait list for St. John right now in terms of meal. We do not have any on St. Thomas right now either, which is good, but that could change by tomorrow. So it's a revolving effect. We do have a few on St. Croix, and we're hoping to get that streamlined within the next 2 months. To 3 months once we get ourselves in gear with that. And as I stated before previously, I'm not sure if you were present at the beginning. And the issue is that with the applications for the Meals on Wheels program is that there's some federal guidelines that have to be instituted in the application, such as a doctor's clearance or a doctor's triage, for lack of a better word, to see what type of meals these individuals should be receiving due to their health conditions. Some might be hypertension, some might be diabetic. So we have to make sure that we provide that meal according to the dietary strengths of these clients.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the additional time.
Thank you, Senator Francis Heilager. Point of information, Senator Joseph, but really,
Again, to the testifiers, staff, my colleagues, the people of St. John. I want to ask about the senior registry. Is that under Human Services? If
Yes,
I
it is,
recall
Senator.
correctly?
Yes, it
Okay. Have you seen, what are the benefits have you seen from that registry, if any, as well as how many individuals have participated or signed up or you've accounted for that registry specifically on St. John?
We're gonna send to get the numbers from Ms. Yvette Henry, but the benefits of the senior registry, especially through a disaster time, we're able to call every single person on that registry to see who needs to be moved to a shelter, to make sure they're safe, to see their needs. And we also use that registry as wellness checks. I've asked the team to start to do wellness checks in regards to our seniors, even if we just call to see if they're okay. Those that are accustomed to come to the center, and if we don't see them for a day or two, a day.
You would
then-
contact them through the registry?
Yeah, that's the registry, and that's the
Excellent.
that's the 911. So it's being in touch. It helps being in touch with our seniors who have signed up, and we continuously use the opportunity to do public awareness in regards to go to community outreach to get additional seniors with the help of Vital.
That's what I was about to ask. What are you doing to really let more seniors know that it's available so we could get more on it so they could get the benefit of the assistance?
Whenever the team goes out, Senator Francis, whether it's in any division goes out, we also make that a component, especially with Ms. Henry, to go out and have a table for seniors that come through to our services to sign up.
The other question I want to ask you, and this is in general of the department, on a scale of 1 to 10, where exactly would you put the department in regards to providing the necessary services? And where would you like to see improvement in the department, whether it's through financial assistance, services, et cetera? What are those key areas you would like to see improved within the department, and where would you put yourself currently on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best, 1 being the least?
My team is laughing. I graded myself the other day, and I gave myself an F. The reason I gave myself an F is because as leaders, we come into these positions with all these goals, short-term, long-term goals, and until we put our foot in and see what needs to be done, we can't get out of that fire. This team is constantly out in fires. This is not for the weak.
No.
So there's tools and resource needed, there's staffing needed. I need to get my team out of the facilities they're in into better facilities in which we're working on doing our projects, but we're seeing the light.
Okay.
And I'm optimistic that when I first took this position, many of you here told me this is gonna take years to fix. And I laughed, I said years, but you're actually seeing that this is a work in progress. And with the team we have and continue to build, I'm optimistic that we can make the changes needed.
Well, I like optimism. And, for just to wrap up, I find a lot of times, as you say, people take on these positions and they have the impression that I'm going to go in and do this, that. And then when they see the reality of it, sometimes people get discouraged. But I like the attitude you're putting forward here, that you're willing to dig your heels in and really figure out what is needed and really assist the people of the territory. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the additional time.
and before we go to a point of information from Senator Joseph, I want to say, Commissioner, I